my presentation, I thought I'd do a live demo. So BIA-bob is technically a Python library. It's a tool, an AI-based assistant which runs inside Jupyter Labs. You see already here, that's how I import it. And this is how I use it. I, for example, write Bob, please load lobster.tiff and show it. And Bob will then in the background ask a large language model, so the models behind, for example, ChatGPT. It will also basically say again what it is going to do next. You can check, you can use this to check if it understood your question the right way. And then you can execute this code. And it will then basically do what you have been asking for. So for example, I want to load this image, I want to show it. And then you can continue the discussion. Or maybe I call up for a second for another time. You see here, percentage Bob. And behind, I say in one line, one thing. If I want to ask Bob for multiple things, and that's what I'm going to do next, I have to write percentage Bob, and then I can write multiple lines of code. It might be particularly useful if you want to do multiple things. It's also, I would love to change that 1%, 2%, but it is actually something that has been there before. That's a Jupyter specific thing, and the community is used to it. Okay, so please segment the image, mark, or let's say label the individual objects and show the original image and the label image with a curtain. And you will then, again, there's this thing running in the background, it's generating some code, and then hopefully the code just works and you get this segmented image and you get this curtain where you can inspect a little bit how the results look like. What is kind of important when you work with Bob, it's just an artificial intelligence, right? So you have to kind of check if the code which was written there actually makes sense and if it's actually doing the right thing. This might be in particular challenging if you have never coded before. So that's why I'm just saying here that this is a learning process, basically, step by step. And you can also use Bob, for example, asking why certain or what certain code is doing. You can also do this with ChatGPT. That's nothing new. But I would like to highlight is that you should not execute code if you do not understand it. If there's like complex stuff, these are simple examples here, right? But if there's complex stuff in there, maybe don't run it and rather to try to investigate before you run it. A potential next step could be Bob. Measure the mean intensity area and perimeter of the segmented objects and give me and store the result as data frame. And you also see here, I'm asking these questions to Bob in a kind of technical language. For example, I'm saying here data frame. I think it would also work if I say table, but from time to time, you really have to speak to Bob in a certain technical image analysis in the Python language. So also here the point again, you have to be aware of some technical terminology in order that Bob understands you correctly. And here it also makes sense to learn a little bit the programming behind. So you see now here, I hope it works. It does not. Oh, it's nice that this happens here now because it's also a common thing. When you as a human write code alone, sometimes Bob generates code which doesn't work, like we humans sometimes program code which doesn't work. If you have a code cell in Jupyter and an error message below, you can try the following. I'm not promising that it will work, but you can write here on top, percentage fix. And it will then take the code, it will take the error message, send it to a language model and fix the error in the code. Let's see if it actually works. And then your table is coming out. So there's a couple of these kind of, let's say, multi-step approaches you have to take anyway. Also, we computer scientists, data analysts sitting in front of the computer, that's what we do every day, right? Code doesn't work always in the first shot. So fixing an error is also for a language model a thing they can do. What I also highly recommend to use large language models in general, but maybe also Bob in particular, is plot the mean, or let's plot the area against perimeter Using Seaborn. Also here, I'm using a little bit technical language to tell Bob which Python library it should use, because with Seaborn, plots look a little bit nicer compared to when you do it with matplotlib. And then I hope, I presume, then we will get a beautiful plot out of this kind of things. And I would here also recommend it. That's what I was also doing. Go a bit step by step. That's how we humans work with Jupyter Notebooks. Ask it to generate a piece of code, look at the intermediate result, read the code, check if it's doing the right thing, look at the intermediate result, check if it is making sense, and then go on to the next step. So I have here another demonstration notebook, which has the name "Do Not," and in the headline it says "Do not do it like this." Just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you. I'm here asking Bob to please load the blobs image, segment the image, label the individual objects, measure intensity. So basically doing the same thing as I just did. And it will generate code, which with some likelihood may also do the right thing. So Bob can technically do this, generate code for complex workflows. But here in this particular case, you see nicely this plot makes sense. And we do know that it makes sense because it looked exactly the same on the page before. But we have no idea if the segmentation was going right. We don't even know if it was opening the correct image. That's why I strongly encourage you, if you use artificial intelligence or Bob or large language models for generating code for image analysis tasks, do not skip the necessary steps. Do like intermediate result visualization, check if these things make sense. Also, read this code carefully, ask ChatGPT to explain you pieces of the code. Try to maintain good scientific practice, even though it might be, not sure what the right word for this is, but you can have a very easy life, but just generating code, executing it, and taking the results is given. But this is not how we scientists work. So that's why hereby I tell you, please don't do this. You also find it here again in the headline. The link to BIA-bob is in the chat, and I'm open to questions.